Let's talk about one of the biggest shakeups happening right now, how artificial intelligence is completely rewriting the rules of cybersecurity. We're talking about a change so big, it might finally tip the scales in that never-ending war against digital threats. So how do we get to this point?
Well, to really get why AI is such a game changer, you first have to appreciate the sheer scale of the problem we're facing. It's not just a few hackers in a basement anymore. We're talking about a constant, overwhelming flood of attacks that are smarter, faster, and more complex than anything we've ever seen before. And they're targeting everyone, from huge companies all the way down to our own phones.
It's not always about super complex code either. A lot of the time, the most successful attacks are all about psychology. Take phishing, for example. It's pure social engineering. Attackers create this fake sense of urgency or pretend to be someone you trust, all to trick you into clicking a bad link or handing over a password. They're basically hacking the human brain, not just the computer.
And then you've got the really nasty stuff, like ransomware. This is basically digital kidnapping. One wrong click and boom. All your files, your photos, your work documents, they're all locked up. And the only way to get them back is to pay a ransom. It's a brutal, incredibly effective tactic that puts a very real price tag on our digital lives.
So, this all leads to the big question, right? With all the amazing technology we have, why does it feel like we're fighting a war we just can't win? Why can't we just build some kind of perfect digital fortress and call it a day?
Well, the challenges are just immense. For starters, almost everything we own is connected to the internet, which creates this gigantic playground for attackers. On top of that, they're using automated tools to launch attacks at lightning speed, and their methods are getting sneakier, hiding inside what looks like normal internet traffic. They often find security holes before the good guys even know they exist. And let's be honest, most of us are pretty confused by all the security advice out there, which makes us easy targets.
So it's pretty clear, right? The old playbook just isn't cutting it. The human defenders, the people on the front lines, are completely overwhelmed. They need backup. But what would the perfect reinforcement even look like in this digital fight?
Okay, just to give you a sense of the scale here, get ready for this number. In late 2024, Amazon was seeing 750 million cyber attack attempts every single day. That number was up from 100 million just earlier that same year. There's no team of people on Earth, no matter how smart, that can keep up with that. It's just not humanly possible.
And that brings us to what cybersecurity defenders are desperately wishing for. They need to get ahead of the game. They're tired of just reacting and cleaning up the mess. They need to be proactive and stop attacks before they even happen. They need to find their own weak spots before the bad guys do. And more than anything, they need an automated partner, a tireless helping hand to sift through that unbelievable flood of threats.
And this is where AI steps onto the scene. It's almost perfectly designed to be that helping hand. But here's the thing you have to understand. AI isn't just one single thing. It's more like it has two very different sides, almost like two personalities that work together.
Think about how our own brains work. We've got that creative, artistic side, and then we've got the logical, analytical side. Well, AI is actually kind of similar. It has a creative personality and an analytical one. And both of these are absolute game changers for cybersecurity.
So let's break down these two sides. On one hand, you have generative AI. We'll call it the creator. Its whole job is to make new stuff, text, images, even computer code. It answers the question, what can you make for me? Then on the other hand, you have predictive AI, the analyst. It's all about digging through data to figure out what's coming next. It answers the question, what's probably going to happen?
So, the creator, generative AI, is the magic behind tools you've probably used, like ChatGPT. It's been trained on an unbelievable amount of data, so it can create new things that are often totally indistinguishable from something a person would make. That could be an email, an article, or, and this is the important part, a piece of computer code.
And then you have the analyst, predictive AI. This is the fortune teller. It uses powerful data analytics to spot patterns that are completely invisible to the human eye. And that allows it to predict future events with some pretty stunning accuracy, like guessing where the next big cyber attack is most likely to come from.
Okay, so we've got the creator and the analyst on our team. That sounds great in theory, but what does this actually look like out there on the front lines? How does this team up really work in a real-world cybersecurity situation?
I absolutely love this analogy. Think about it. A security alert on a dashboard is just like that low tire pressure light in your car. It tells you, hey, there's a problem, but it doesn't tell you why. Is it a nail, a slow leak?
To figure that out, a security expert would normally have to sit down and write some really complex, specialized code. But now with generative AI, they can just ask in plain English, and the AI writes that code for them, instantly. It cuts down the investigation time from hours to seconds.
Now, to get these incredible results, you have to know how to talk to the AI. It's not about giving it a command, it's more like having a conversation. And using a simple structure like this create framework is kind of the secret sauce. It helps you get exactly the answers you need and fast.
And you know, the most powerful part of this is often that very first step, giving the AI a character. When you tell it you are an expert chef, you're not just asking for a simple recipe, you're tapping into a whole persona. In security, you might say you're a top-tier analyst who specializes in network attacks. And the quality of what you get back is just worlds better.
Okay, let's switch gears back to our analyst predictive AI. Its real power is that it moves way beyond just describing the past. Your standard data report tells you what happened, but predictive AI forecasts what will happen, and it can even suggest the best way to respond. It's the difference between driving while looking only in the rearview mirror versus having a super smart GPS that shows you the road ahead.
But here's where the story takes a pretty dramatic turn. This amazing new tool, this powerful ally we've been talking about, is also a double-edged sword. Why? Because everything the good guys can do with it, the bad guys can too.
So let's do a quick recap of the good stuff. Defenders are using AI to spot threats in real time, to automate all the boring security chores, to catch sneaky phishing emails, respond to attacks faster, and even create super realistic training drills. It's a huge force multiplier for them.
But here's the scary part. Attackers are using the exact same technology. This is what's called adversarial AI. And what's so dangerous about this new arms race is that AI basically gives attacks superpowers to anyone. Someone with zero coding skills can now ask an AI to write them some nasty malware. They can create perfectly worded, totally convincing phishing emails in any language on Earth. It has completely leveled the playing field, and not in a good way.
There's another risk we have to talk about, and that's something called AI bias. Now, this isn't the AI being mean or prejudiced on purpose, it's more of a statistical flaw. If an AI model is trained on data that's incomplete or lopsided, its results are going to be skewed. For example, if a security AI is only trained on attacks that are common in North America, it might totally miss a new type of attack coming out of Asia.
But despite all these risks, there's definitely some good news here. The data shows that the AI on the defender's side is getting smarter all the time. If you look here, the dotted line is what the AI predicted for ransomware attacks, and the solid line is what actually happened. You can see that over time, the lines get closer and closer together. The AI is learning, it's adapting, and it's becoming a much more accurate weapon for the good guys. And that really brings us to the final big question. We are officially in an arms race where both sides, the attackers and the defenders, are armed with powerful AI. So if the technology itself isn't the only advantage anymore, what becomes the new deciding factor? Is it who has the faster AI, the more creative AI, or is it something uniquely human, like the ingenuity of a person working side by side with their AI partner? That's the question we'll have to answer.